So it was a very segregated city, but it did not have the legal segregation that you had down south. So we had to figure out how we were going to struggle in Detroit. Now, I had come to Detroit in 1953 mainly because, as a member of the Johnson Forest Tendency, we had heard that black workers were becoming radicalized. The Johnson Forest Tendency was a tendency inside the Trotskyist movement that was led by C.L.R. James and Raya Donayeskaya, whose party names were J.R. Johnson and Freddie Forrest. And it was called Johnson Forest because they were the two leaders. Anyway, I came in 1951. The Johnson Forest Tendency decided that we had to go beyond thinking only in terms of the labor movement or workers as being the social force for the revolution. And we defined the social forces as rank and file workers, blacks, women, and young people. And we decided to create a little newsletter called Correspondence, which would be written and edited by these folks. I came to Detroit in 1953 to work on Correspondence. Jimmy Boggs, who was an African-American worker who had been born in the South and raised in the South and came to Detroit in the late 30s and began working at the Chrysler Jefferson plant, had become the head of the correspondence group. And he and I got married in 1953. What began to happen in 1953, when I came to the city, was that the freeways were being built. On the east side, the Chrysler Freeway was bulldozing the black community. On the west side, the Lodge Freeway was bulldozing Chinatown, which was down around Abbott and Howard. And what was beginning to happen in 53 was that whites were going to the suburbs, and the city, the racial composition of the city was beginning to change. That was the basis of the Black Power movement. It was not anything had to do with the working class or with production.